Good evening, everyone. So today we will be discussing the 6th of September Assam Tribune analysis, and I hope you people are benefited with this course and with this initiative. And I hope you guys can hear me also. So let's start. Let's start with the discussion of today's newspaper, which is Assam Tribune. And we're discussing the 6th of September analysis. And also, it is important from the perspective of preliminary as well as mains examination, as per the new pattern of APSC as well as the UPSC pattern. And these things are also important from the other government examinations, which majorly of the each and every government examinations these days have general studies paper. General studies paper. So it is very beneficial for those people also who are appearing for the other government exams also, right? So you can avail the benefit of out of it also, right? So let's start. Before starting the articles, I would like to say that the courses we are providing for the APSC and UPSC examinations, right, and admissions are going off for those courses also, right? So you can avail those courses before 12th of September, because from 15th of September we're starting our new batch. Okay, so you can contact in this number, right? And you can also join the WhatsApp groups which are mentioned in the description box, right? Let's start the discussion by highlighting the contents which I will be covering today. The first article we will be covering: boy dies of Nipah virus. It is not that important as of the news article is concerned, but when it is talking about the Nipah virus, then we have to discuss about the Nipah virus also, right? And these are by that process only we can actually study the current affairs in details. Okay, so then 50% of newborn in Assam not breastfed within first hour of life. It is very much important from your society point of view, right? And health and family welfare also. Family welfare also, right? So it is very much important from that perspective. Then the third article will be grouped behind Hong Kong's Tiananmen Whistle denies foreign ties. So it is important from your international relation part, right? So let's move. Then Chashma Bandar, population rising in Tripura despite loss of habitat. That will be the fourth article we'll be covering. And the fifth article, which is India urges early TRIPS waiver ruling on COVID shots at WTO. So from that perspective, you have to discuss the TRIPS, we have to discuss the WTO, etc., etc. Right. So let's move on to the news article. The first article is boy dies of Nipah virus. Right. It is very much important from your biodiversity part of General Studies paper 3. So, one second. Okay, now you can hear me, I think. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So, the news was a 12-year boy died due to Nipah virus infection is spread by saliva of fruit bats, right? So, saliva of fruit bats, and boy died unfortunately, right? So, for that we have to talk about the Nipah virus. It is a zoonotic disease. You can also watch the video of Science and Tech, where we have discussed the other viruses and these viruses also, right? So from the current affairs perspective, you can also watch that video. Right. For that, right now, we can discuss about the current affairs of this specific article. The zoonotic virus. It is a zoonotic virus. It is transmitted from animals to human. That means zoonotic means that can transmit from animal to human. Right. So then, organisms which causes Nipah virus encephalitis is an RNA or ribonucleic acid virus of the family. What is this? Paramyxoviridae, right? I am not good with the biological terms. Sorry for that. Right. So closely related with Hendra virus. Right. So Hendra virus infection is a rare emerging zoonosis that causes severe and often fatal disease in both infected horses and humans. Okay, so it is first broke out in Malaysia. The Nipah virus first broke out in Malaysia and Singapore in 1998 and 1999. Okay, it is very much important. You cannot say that it is first broke out in Kerala. Okay, many students or many people uh, eventually thinks that it broke out in Kerala. Not, it is not, right? So you can write this. It is first broke out in Malaysia and Singapore in 1998, 1999, right? It first appeared in domestic pigs and has been found among several species of domestic animals, including dogs, cats, goats, horses, sheep, etc. As well as you may have think that why those all these diseases first hit in the Kerala or you can say Maharashtra region. Why? Have you ever thought about it? Please think about it. And if you need the answer, we have covered that in current affairs only. Why it happens, and why it the health the Kerala and the state health ministry also mentioned about it, right? Why Kerala is very prone to these sort of diseases or new diseases, you can say. Yeah, good evening guys, good evening people. So please think about it, and then also you can follow the news in the current affairs, right? We have covered that also. Then transmission. The diseases spread through fruit bats or flying foxes of the genus Taureus. Tropus, who are neutral reservoir hosts of Nipah and Hendra virus. The virus is present in bat urine and potentially bat feces, saliva, and breathing fluids. Birthing fluids, and also they can also spread the virus through the breathing activities also, right? So that is the transmission based facts about the Nipah virus. So let's move to what are the symptoms. The human infection present as an encephalitis syndrome marked by fever, headache, etc., right? Mental confusion, coma, and potentially death, right? So eventually they can die also. People can die also, right? The 12-year boy died. Okay, so it is severe, right? The prevention, currently there is no vaccine. Okay, it broke in 1998, obviously, but there is no vaccine right now for the Nipah virus prevention for both humans and animals. Intensive supportive care is given to humans infected by Nipah virus. Right. You can also look at the whatever I said in this article. You can also see the detection in the first detection in Maharashtra. Right. So you can also see through the infographic also. Right. The first identified in Malaysia in 1999 during the encephalitis like outbreak among pigs and pig handler with a case fatality rate of 40%. Fatality मतलब मरने का जो रेट है, ठीक है, अगर हो जाता है तो उसके बाद कितने डेथ होते हैं, ठीक है, उसके हिसाब से that was 40%, right? And it is the Nipah virus is one of the top pathogen lists of WHO, right? So then Nipah in India, it has experienced 4 NIV outbreaks with CFR, that is case fatality rate from 65% to 100%. Right, 2001 Siliguri district, 2007 Nadia district West Bengal, 2018 Kozhikode district Kerala, 2019 Kozhikode. Right, and please, whenever I'm saying about these things, please focus these areas: West Bengal, Kerala, right? Kozhikode, Kerala. So, can you see any common pattern in it? If you can see any common pattern in these areas, please comment. If you can see, if you can see any common pattern in these areas, West Bengal, Kerala, please comment. The disease, the infected bat shed the virus in exhaustion, and it can jump to humans. NIV can be fatal, causing swelling of brain, right, after signs of respiratory illness. So Mahabaleshwar finding: large food-eating uh, Dropus medius bat said to be NIV reservoir in India. So these are some findings from Mahabaleshwar research, right? The survey, okay, medical survey. So let's move. That is the news regarding and facts regarding the Nipah virus. Right. Let's move. 50% of newborn in Assam not breastfed within first hour of life. It is very much important for society, but as well as it is very much important from your health and family welfare also. Right. So over 50% of newborn in Assam are not breastfed within the first hour of life, putting both the mother and the baby at a higher risk of death and diseases. Right. This is despite the fact that early initiation of breastfeeding to newborns within the first hour of birth is regarded as one of the major evidence-based interventions, especially vis-a-vis maternal and neonatal mortality. Right, maternal, that means for the mother and the newborn baby. Right, the worst, you can say, compared to the preceding years, the rate of children who could be breastfed within the first hour of birth is various hospital in Assam has nosedived by 15% in 2019-20. मतलब क्या हुआ recently 2019 2019 2020 का जो पीरियड है उसमें हुआ ये है कि देयर इज अ वॉर सिनेरियो, राइट? सो द in the first hour of when the baby born, right, so the breastfeeding procedure was not followed in the first hour, and that the percentage of that has gone down to 15% in 2018-19. As per the latest National Family Health Survey, it is very much important, 2019-20, early initiation of breastfeeding in Assam has dropped from 64% to 49.1% in National Family Health Survey, fourth National Family Health Survey. So that is, it is dropped from 64.4% to 49.1%. Right. So let's move. We have to talk about what is the other aspects of it, other facts also, right? So for that, World Breastfeeding Week 2021, the day highlights the benefit that breastfeeding can bring to both the health and welfare of babies. That is why I was talking about it is important from your health and family welfare as well. The day also focuses on maternal health, good nutrition, poverty reduction, etc. World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated annually from 1st of August to 7th of August to encourage the breastfeeding and improve babies' health. Babies' health around the world. The theme of 2021 was the protect breastfeeding, a shared responsibility. A shared responsibility. It focuses on how breastfeeding contributes to the survival, health, and well-being of all. It is very much important from the perspective of mother who gave birth as well as from the perspective of child. Okay, so it is very much important from the both side. Okay, so let's. The objective of World Breastfeeding Week to create awareness among the parents about breastfeeding, encourage parents to adopt breastfeeding, and there were some taboo in various societies of Assam as well as the mainland India. That is, when there is some taboo, there is a traditional practice also in some tribal areas, or some many areas also in Assam and as well as India, that some people thinks why that breastfeeding is given so much importance or so much awareness related concerns, right? So why people are, or government is giving so much importance to this? Because some people thinks that the first milk after the child is born, the first milk of mother is actually harmful for the child. That is the taboo, that is the wrong practice of some section of the society. मतलब सोचते ये हैं कि आप लोगों ने कभी एक्सपीरियंस करा होगा नहीं पता, लेकिन ये सोचते हैं लोग कि सम दैट इन सम सोसाइटी द जो ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग इन द फर्स्ट आवर, राइट, द फर्स्ट मिल्क आफ्टर, मतलब जब बच्चा पैदा हुआ तभी तभी जो जो माँ का दूध है वो हार्मफुल माना जाता है दैट न्यूबॉर्न के लिए. That is some wrong practice is going on, still going on in various section of the society, right? So that is why government is giving so much importance to this sort of practices, which is which truly is healthy for both mother and child, right? So we cannot go with the taboo or wrong practices, right? It is not harmful, right? It is actually healthy, right? To create awareness among the parents about the breastfeeding, encourage parents to adopt breastfeeding, create awareness about the importance of initiation and exclusive breastfeeding and adequate and appropriate complementary feeding, provide advocacy maternal about the importance of breastfeeding. You have to aware people, both mother as well as her family, right? That is information, communication, education. I have been talking about this in every maybe a maximum classes, right? So information, communication and education is very much important for them who doesn't know about its actually practice, right? Who doesn't know the real truth about it. We have to aware them, right? And we have to give education for the breastfeeding in the first hour. So that is the whole scenario in that breastfeeding the news. Then we have to also discuss about the India's initiative, right? The first initiative I will be talking about, Mother's Absolute Affection. It is a nationwide program, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, right? Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to protect, to promote breastfeeding and provision of counseling services to supporting breastfeeding through health system. Counseling मतलब उनको समझाना कि ये जरूरी है, right? First of all, the program has been named Ma to signify the support a lactating mother, right, requires from family members and at health facilities breastfeed successfully. इसमें क्या है, इसमें प्रोग्राम में ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस उसको भी दिया गया है कि मदर को, जो माँ है, ठीक है, उन्होंने बच्चा पैदा किया तो उनको भी सही हेल्थ के लिए, उनके सही हेल्थ के लिए उनको भी सपोर्ट मिलना चाहिए अच्छे से फ्रॉम द फैमिली एज वेल एज फ्रॉम द हेल्थ सेक्टर ऑल्सो. सपोर्ट मतलब क्या, उनका खाना पीना, ठीक है, उनका जो हेल्थ, उनका जो डाइट वगैरह वगैरह, उन पे भी हमें फोकस करना होगा थ्रू दिस. एंड फॉर दैट गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटेड दिस मदर्स एब्सोल्यूट अफेक्शन. जब बच्चे को संभालना है तो मदर को भी उसी हिसाब से ट्रीट करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज द होल सिनारियो, राइट? So then the objective of program build an enabling environment for breastfeeding through awareness generation activities targeting pregnant and lactating mother. Lactating मतलब जो जिनका बच्चा हो गया, जो ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग करा रहे हैं, ठीक है, जो ठीक है, तो फैमिली मेंबर्स इन सोसाइटी इन अदर in order to promote optimal breastfeeding practices. Breastfeeding to be positioned as an important intervention for child survival and development, right? Reinforce lactation support services at public health facilities through trained healthcare providers and through skilled community health workers to incentivize the and recognize those health facilities that show high rate of breastfeeding along with processes in place of lactation management, right? The next initiative was Vatsalya Matri Amrit Kosh, a national human milk bank, right? That is the first human milk bank and lactation counseling center has been established at the Lady Hardinge Medical College, Delhi. That is the first India's first national human milk bank. Okay, it has been established in collaboration with the Norwegian government, Oslo University, and Norway India Partnership Initiative. So it is very much important. It was actually initiated in 2018-19. Okay, 2018-19, that was initiated in Vatsalya, right? It was the first national human milk bank. Okay, so remember these things also. These are the India's initiative. So with that, the article is over. Let's move on to the next article. That is a group behind Hong Kong's Tiananmen vessel denies foreign ties. It is important for society as well as it is important from your international relation also, right? So why it is in news? Because the group behind the annual Tiananmen Square Memorial Vigil in Hong Kong said on Sunday it will not cooperate with police conducting a national security investigation into the group's actions, calling it an abuse of power. So इसके लिए आपको जरूरी होगा what is Tiananmen Vigil. Tiananmen, why it is important? So it is important because there was a Tiananmen Square massacre happened. The Tiananmen Square protest was student-led demonstration led in Tiananmen Square in Beijing in 1989, right, calling for democracy, free speech, and free press in China, right? The background to protest, these protests were set off by death of pro-reform Communist General Secretary Hu Yaoban in April 1989, amid the backdrop of rapid economic development and social changes in post-Mao China. You will read all about these things. That is what is communism, who is Mao Zedong, etc. etc. You will be reading in the world history part. And whoever have a history optional, they will read in details also. Communism, Mao Zedong, right? What is KMT, Kuomintang? So these things we will be just reading in that subject only, right? So then, from common perspective, you can say the common grievances at the time included inflation, corruption, limited preparedness of graduate for the new economy, and restrictions on political participation. Tiananmen Square massacre, the protest started in April 15 and when 1989 were forcibly suppressed in bloody crackdown known as the Tiananmen Square massacre, right, by the Chinese government on June 4 and 5 in 1989. On June 4, government declared martial law and sent the military to occupy central part of Beijing. Troops with assault rifle and tanks fired at the demonstrators. Estimates of the death toll vary from several hundred to several thousand. Right. So it is important from your international relation, history as well, and society as well, right? So please remember who led the protest. That is the student, right? That student led the protest. Where it happened? It happened in Beijing, China, right? So please be focused on these things also. Let's move. That is, it is regarding the Chashma Bandar population rising in Tripura despite loss of habitat. It is very much important from your biodiversity part. The news was the only chosen few are born, right? And they happen to be Phyreus leaf monkey. Phyreus leaf monkey, or the species popularly known in the country as Chashma Bandar, right? So bespectacle monkey भी बोलते हैं उसको इंग्लिश में obviously the चश्मा बंदर जिसको बोलेंगे. The shy agile deep forest dwellers are now threatened with extinction as humans are increasingly encouraging on their natural and encroaching their national habitat, right? So people are encroaching that problem we are always seeing in the when we are discussing about the man-animal conflict also, right? So this is the major problem. But the major problem was that, but what we have to discuss about the Chashma Bandar also. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, Phyreus leaf monkey is listed as endangered, and it is its population is estimated to have more than half over the last 3 generations, that is 36 years, given a monkey generation length of 12 years. ये सब याद रखना है आपको. क्यों याद रखना है? आपको मैंने बोला था. Because there was a question asked about elephant in UPSC prelims. So they have asked in very much details about elephant. So you have to know about these things also, right? That is why we're adding these things nowadays. No matter what they ask, right? They can ask anything. Due to the combination of habitat loss and hunting, in India, it is scheduled 1 species under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. The leaf monkey derives its local name from chalk white patch around its black eyes, close to the bridge of its nose. The primates are general treetop dwellers and hardly descend even to drink water. वो जमीन पे आते ही नहीं, मतलब पानी पीने के लिए भी वो आना पसंद नहीं करते, ऐसा है, ठीक है. So they are mainly they live in the trees and they just move in that through the trees and stuff, right? So then they are named after Sir Arthur Purvis Phyre, then a British Indian Army officer who discovered the species. Okay, so let's move and discuss more about this. This is the Chashma Bandar. Look at this. This is a Chashma Bandar. Why it is called a Chashma Bandar or bespectacled monkey? That is why. Look at his eyes, right? Eyes. They prefer to collect water from dew and rain drenches, then drenched leaves, and survives on fruits, flowers, and leaves. Right. When surprised, they sound as guttural alarm. They only other sound when they make is a kind of squirrel. Right. They make is a kind of squirrel. Tripura's Sepaijala Wildlife Sanctuary is known as the you can say the prized leaf. They live in that area. The Central Zoo Authority of India has deemed Sepaijala Wildlife Sanctuary as a national breeding center for bespectacled monkey, that is Chashma Bandar. The monkey, which is also the state animal, is spotted in northeastern state Tripura, part of Assam and Mizoram, neighboring Chittagong Hill tract of Bangladesh, southwestern China, part of Southeast Asia including Myanmar. तो अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन आए, ठीक है, कि बेस्पेक्टिकल मंकी या फिर चश्मा बंदर बस त्रिपुरा में ही दिखता है, ओनली इन त्रिपुरा, मैंने बोला था आपको, प्लीज रिमेंबर दीज थिंग्स. If the statement द गिवन only. Please be careful. Okay. So if they say that the Chashma Bandar is only found in Tripura, please note it wrong. Okay. So please remember these things not correct also, which is the statements are not correct, right? So your exams are coming on 12th September, so you have to be very careful about it. Okay. So then these species are adapting to life in rubber plantations in Tripura. There is a high dependence on rubber leaves. Primatologists Confirmed primatologist Joydeep Bose. In a study, Bose and Bhattacharya in 2004 reported that more than 75% of the annual diet of species in Tripura comes from rubber plants. Okay. नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है कि yeah they have water. It is not like they are not having water or something like that. They collect water from dew and rain drenched leaves and survive on. मतलब क्या है कि जो ड्यू होता है, ठीक है, नियोर जिटू को है हमारा, ठीक है, तो ड्यू और जब बारिश होती है जो लीव्स में या फिर आपके जो ट्री बाग्स में, ठीक है, वहां पे वाटर जब जमा होते हैं ना, वहां पे ट्रीज में ही, ठीक है, वो पी के वो लोग काम चलाते हैं, समझ रहे हो? तो ऐसा नहीं है कि दे आर लिविंग विदाउट वाटर. इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. दे डू नॉट दे डू नॉट प्रिफर टू कम टू द ग्राउंड, राइट? तो वो पेड़ के ऊपर ही रहते हैं मैक्सिमम टाइम. They do not prefer, they hardly, it is saying hardly, that is not, they are not coming, they said it is hardly they send even to drink water. कभी कभी एकदम हार्डली, ठीक है, वो आते हैं नीचे फॉर टू, जब ऊपर पानी नहीं मिलता, बारिश नहीं हो रही है या फिर वो, तो तब वो आएंगे, ठीक है, पानी के लिए. दैट इज द थिंग. The species is adapting to life in a rubber plantation in Tripura, right? So the more than 75% of the annual diet of the species in Tripura comes from the rubber plants. Okay, so these are the important facts about Chashma Bandar. And even if it is not coming in, I am very enthusiastic about these things also. Even if it is not coming in exam, please know your Northeast, right? It is very much important. It is very much interesting fact about, right, the Chashma Bandar, right, where it is found, why they are not coming to they are not hardly come to the land for even drink water, etc., etc. It was an interesting fact, right? So let's move. India urges early trips waiver ruling on COVID shots at WTO. It is very much important from economic development. India has pitched for an early outcome of trips waiver proposal of COVID-19 vaccines, right? So it is important from the economic development. Also, we have to discuss what is TRIPS agreement. TRIPS agreement has been in force since 1995, and it is to date the most comprehensive multilateral agreement in intellectual property. The TRIPS agreement introduced global minimum standard for protecting and enforcing nearly all forms of intellectual property rights, that is IPR, right? So international convention prior to TRIPS did not specify minimum standards for patent. At the time that negotiation began, over 40 countries in the world did not grant patent protection for pharmaceutical products. The TRIPS agreement now required all WTO members, with few exceptions, to adopt their laws to the minimum standard of IPR protection. In addition, the TRIPS agreement also introduced detailed obligation for the enforcement of intellectual property rights. So these are important from your TRIPS agreement also. Then Doha Declaration on TRIPS agreement. In November 2001, WTO members adopted the Doha Declaration on TRIPS agreement and public health. Please tell me where it is. Where Doha located? Please tell me in the comment section. TRIPS agreement and public health, which is categorical that every member has the right to grant compulsory license and the freedom to determine the grounds upon which such licenses are granted. Okay. One second, guys. Answer mila? Doha. Where is Doha? Doha is in Qatar. Qatar. Okay. Chalo. Doha Declaration did not require any amendment to the text of the TRIPS Accord because the grounds of the compulsory license were listed in the original text. The declaration merely served to reinforce that logic. WTO members and compulsion. The World Trade Organization is the international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. As 2020, WTO has 164 members, where 24 observer states. Right. So becoming member of the WTO, countries undertake to adhere to the 18 specific agreements annexed to the agreement establishing the WTO. They cannot choose to be part to some agreement but not others, with the exceptions of few plurilateral agreements that are not obligatory. That is the WTO membership. Then it is the apne desh ko jano. Potato has a journey to India, right? The potato, the most important ingredient you can say in Indian cuisines, is the South American origin. It has introduced in India in 17th century with the first cultivations taking place in gardens of Surat, Karnataka, and in around 1675, right? So it is important from Nidesh Kujana. So then we have our, on public demand, we have our 50% off is going on the APSC prelims GS test series and also the solved question papers, right? So you can avail it through the CSAP app. Also, you can contact this number. Okay. Let's move to the today's practice questions. Please try to solve these questions related to Bhasan Char, then Valmiki Tiger Reserve, then Golden Langur, right? Because Chashma Bandar was in news, so that is why I thought they can ask you about the Golden Langur also, because Golden Langur was in news recently, right? So then we have Bureau of Indian Standards, right? Question about it. Then Artificial Son of China, what was in news, very much in news recently. So these are some questions. You can also see the answers after completing the questions. Then we have our mains practice question, discuss the long-standing issues with respect to the intellectual property enforcement and protection in India, suggest a solution to address the same. So we have discussed about the IPR in the WIPO and TRIPS article, right? So you can take help from that also. And with that, in last, we have given the answer framework in this format. You can write the answers also. With that, the last moment preparation for the 12th of September examination. So you can avail the score booster course, right? So where current affairs discussion, strategy building, last moment preparation, most important probable questions are also given in the, you can also avail through the CSAP app. You can also connect to this number. With that, I hope you like the video. And yeah, it is the capital of Qatar. Nice, great. So I'm very grateful that you are participating in this class. I like the approach of you guys. Thank you, and I hope you guys have benefited with this initiative. And thank you very much. Just like the video, right? Just follow CSAP, right? So thank you very much. Thank you.